about a year into patching where he was able to come off of almost all of his medications, blood pressure medications, all the stuff for the heart and depression, anxiety, all of that, come off all of those. And it was about maybe 6-ish months ago, I would say, maybe, where he was up on a roof. He and his son were cleaning the gutters out up on the roof. He climbed up a ladder and was successfully having no problems being on a roof. And he had been wheelchair walker bound for years and in excruciating pain and on medications with no quality of life. And now he has his quality of life back. I mean, the stories that I've heard are just thousands and thousands of people, various issues, various conditions. The beautiful thing is, your body's smart. It knows how to heal itself. It's just gotten out of balance. And you've aged. So those stem cells, they're not there to do what they did when you were younger. And so when we say, "Come on, wake up, let's go, reset yourself, get yourself up and moving again," these stem cells go to work, find the areas that are damaged. Your body knows how to do that. And so it prioritizes what's most important first. You can say, "Oh, it's my back. I need this for my back pain." And your stem cells are going, "Honey, your liver shot. We're going to go there first." Right? Too much wine during the lifetime here. And it'll go work on the liver, or they'll go work on the heart or the brain, whatever's needed. And it'll just work. The stem cells will work their way through your body, repairing things over time. That compound effect is so powerful. And again, this is not an injection. So there's no worry about anything invasive entering our body. There's no side effects. Like I said earlier, no interactions or contraindications. With when you look at like stem cell injections, you're talking, I talked to a lady today, $8,000 for stem cell injections. And the doctor said you need to come back at least 3 times back to back. And this will only last you about 18 months. And she's like, "I can't afford that. I'm in my 70s. This is literally the price of a cup of coffee a day, and I don't mean a Starbucks, and I also don't mean Folgers at home, but I'm talking about, maybe your Dunkin' Donuts, couple dollars a day coffee. It's very affordable for people if they're willing to give it that time." I'm 50. Yeah, I do. I know. No filters, no filters. This is just the real me. It's funny because I Zoom every day, of course, and I see people in person. They're like, "You really look like that, or you look younger than you do in the Zooms. I thought it was a filter." I'm like, "No, there's no filter. This is the patches." Well, no matter what, collagen production gets ramped up around that 90-day mark. So you don't have to worry about that. When you elevate the GHKCU, the copper peptide, like I said, it does a lot of different things. It sets in motion what we call biochemical reactions in the body. And so not only does it elevate glutathione, it increases collagen, it increases GABA, which helps with the sleep, and it helps reduce inflammation. So we're activating a different process. So lots of things are taking place when you elevate GHK. So don't worry about your wrinkles. We'll get rid of them. Hmm. Hmm. Well, yes, of course. There have been many, many people that are like, "Why have I never heard of this before? This doesn't make sense." And I'll just remind them, have you heard of patch technology or patch therapy? Have you ever heard of a nicotine or a pain patch or a weight loss patch? Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, that's not new, is it? No. All right. So, are you familiar with light therapy? Have you ever been in the sun? Yeah, okay, great. That makes sense, right? Well, we're combining the best of the both worlds here with light therapy and patch technology to help your body be able to activate its own stem cells. And your stem cells have the ability to repair and regenerate whatever's needed in your body. And so then they probably look at me and wait a minute, I'm waiting to see what they say next. And they'll say, well, if it's so good, why have I never heard of it? Why are my doctors not prescribing this? And I'll say, well, because this is not a drug. This is not a medication that you have to write a prescription that you get a kickback for. This is something that's shared word of mouth, people to people. And I'm sorry you haven't heard about it. I wish I'd heard about it more than 4 years ago. This has been around 20 years, but it's just making its way around. It's not new. No, it's making its way around the globe. We're in 82 countries, and this really took off in Europe initially. I mean, we took off with the Olympic athletes and people in the horse arena. They took off pretty quick here in the states, but it very fast in the beginning went to Europe because they understand holistic health. They're much stricter on their guidelines than the United States. We all know that. And then from there, really it took off in Asia. And Japan was, that's our number one market in Asia. They know all about light therapy and acupuncture points and, helping the body to heal naturally. And so the United States just kind of came on board, honestly, 5 years ago when the pandemic was happening. And with what happened, we went on lockdown. And so people went to Zoom and they were searching frantically for anything to help improve their immune system, to help reduce inflammation, to help their body heal. And here comes Lifewave with at that time a 15-year-old company that had proven technology with clinical studies and patents. The inventor of the tech holds 200 patents. I mean, that's a small category of people on the planet that have that. And of course, growing every day as he's adding new things that he's inventing for humanity. And so it's just really because of this technology that we're at right now, Zoom, where we are right here, that this is spreading like wildfire. And the United States is the number one market because we do understand stem cells. We do understand our immune system now. We know the power of the body to heal itself. We've just got to get it back in balance. And this is a non invasive way to do that that's affordable for anyone, accessible, shipped to your door in 2 days. So it's catching on now. But if you haven't heard of it, it's okay. It's great time for you to now learn and then share with somebody else because that's what we do. We find something we love, something like a movie we've seen or our favorite new recipe, and we share things with friends. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Hmm. Yeah, I get that question all the time. So I put it here so you can see it. You can't see it if it's on the back of my neck. So I put it right here so it's front and center and you're looking at it and everybody says, which one is that? Which one is that? It's whichever one I grab out of this bag right here. And I grab and stick on. This could be an extra Eon or an extra glutathione because I wear my patches mostly below my belly button just because my hair sometimes will get caught in the tape and I just put them right below my belly button, just one, two, three, four, all the way down the line. And then I rip them all off at night. So throw them away. But this just happens to be an extra of whatever I grab. Mhm. So I get up in the morning and I have some quiet time, me time. My husband and I spend a little bit of time together in the morning after that, having conversation. I'm a big person that loves. I start my day off with water. Absolutely, hydration first thing in the morning. We get up about 6 o'clock. I love teas. So loose leaf teas. So I, have my little kettle. I brew myself a big glass, big thing of making several different glasses of teas that support my kidneys, my liver, my lymphatic system, things like that. I always work out, so I'll either go into the gym and do some weight training, resistance training, 4 or 5 times a week. I love to walk. We live it out in the country, so we live in a development where there's horses and cows and chickens and birds and ducks and all kinds of stuff. So I'll do like a 3 mile walk most mornings just to get out in nature and again just have some time by myself and just be right before I come back in, take a shower, and get started for my day. I haven't eaten yet, of course. And so when I do, protein is key, as you mentioned. I do absolutely make sure I consume around 100 to 120 grams of protein every day because it's important as we age, our protein declines. Just like I said, our collagen, right? Earlier, we lose 1% of collagen every year. And collagen is a peptide, right? Protein that we need in our body. It's the glue that holds us together. And so I'll start off with a good protein rich breakfast, keeps me full before I hop on Zooms. And then, same thing for lunch, dinner, it's going to be, protein veggies. So I'm a big protein veggies person. Like tonight, my husband's cooking filet mignon and green beans. And so that's going to give, lots of protein. Where today, like for lunch, I had chicken breast and quinoa. And a piece of sourdough bread. There's a lady local that makes this jalapeno cheddar sourdough bread that is amazing. So I had that with my lunch today, and then that's it. I stay super hydrated. I love like mineral water, the Topo Chico mineral water. Of course, we have a filtration system in our house. Waiting patiently for my water machine this month from David. But staying hydrated and just again the teas and the tinctures. Those are things that I enjoy on and off throughout the day, and I'm just that's my food kind of routine before bedtime. There's always quiet time, where my husband goes to bed. He always goes to sleep first. So I have some time for meditation, journaling, things like that before I turn in for the night and get my good 8 hours of sleep. It depends. I don't want to say I do. I'm a more of a liquid kind of person. So, like, my vitamin D is going to be liquid. My B is going to be in what's called a troche. So, I'm not like a pill swallower. And I'm not saying I have not taken gobsfuls in the past, but I also am just very much in tune with myself. And the longer you use the patches, because of them, increasing and improving the functionality of all the things in your body, I do have a chiropractor I see on a regular basis for regular maintenance that does testing on me to make sure, do you need this? Do you need that? So, but again, I'm a tincture person. So I like those herbs, the Chinese herbs in the tinctures, and I'll drop some of those in my water. So it may be something like the vitamin D, K2, or a little iodine, to make sure my thyroid stays healthy. I have one that's called, I do cleanses. I'm a big cleanse person, detox person. So at least quarterly, I'm doing some kind of detox. But on a daily basis, like I said, I do the teas to support detoxification of my kidneys, my liver, my lymphatic system, just because it's important. We're bombarded by toxins on a daily basis. Yes, correct. Right. We don't ever make any claims to treat or cure anything. And you wouldn't want to do that with anything out there on the market. We're all so different. Everybody's body's going to respond differently to any supplement, any nutrient, any nutrition. I mean, you look at food, some people can eat spinach and be fine, and others are deathly ill. Same thing with, chicken or turkey or, cauliflower. Everyone's so different, and your vitamins and supplements are no different. So, the thing I love about this patch is it's not putting anything into my body. It's activating a process that's already there. It's just not probably functioning to its optimal. So it says, "Hey, let's start putting everything in balance. Let's get this mitochondrial function working correctly. Let's go ahead and get these nutrients that she is using, right? Is intaking. Let's improve their efficacy. So they're working 20 to 30% better for her. So my nutrition that I take in, my digestion is so pristine, if you would say, that I'm absorbing the nutrients that I'm taking in, which is a big issue today. And so when you look at the long-term effects, you can definitely see that with everything that we're doing. Mhm. Well, water's vital to your life, okay? Yeah, special water. So David has invented a water machine, and we're working on production of that right now. There's some of us that will be receiving one in here in about a week or so. And so this water machine is not anything on the planet. It's not alkalized water, structured water, hydrogen water. Literally, David had has now 20 patents just from inventing this machine. And so he has it's a long process, and you can watch some videos on my YouTube if you want. But in a nutshell, he figured out the Bible codes, and through his research and studying lobsters on their anti-aging abilities, they get stronger and healthier as they age. They live up to 130 years old if someone doesn't catch them. Yeah, lobsters. The only reason why they perish is because someone catches them and eats them, or they can't find a bigger shell, and so they die, but otherwise they're living to 130 easy. And so he's figured out exactly what components do that. And he's taken those and decoded them into frequencies, into wavelengths of light. And so this water machine, in a nutshell, you can pour whatever water you want in it. It purifies everything out, all heavy metals, all forever chemicals, everything. And then immediately, six wavelengths of light from these frequencies are going to change the bond angle and infuse this healing light into the water. And then the water comes out of the machine. You drink a glass of water a day. And so that water is then infused in every single cell of your body. Trillions of cells are infused with this water. And so we have our patches that a wavelength of light from outside of the body enters through the skin and elevates specific peptides. Well, this water actually infuses every single cell in your body from the inside because you're drinking it. So it's different. Okay, so if you go to again go to PubMed, and I do have a really long document that I can share with you if you'd like Sandy to pass on just for time purposes. But if you go to PubMed and you type in GHKCU, you'll find the incredible anti-cancer benefits of GHK. So if if we're elevating stem cells that are cancer stem cells, we'd all be dead, and there are millions of people on the planet patching. So we are absolutely not elevating stem cells that have anything to do with cancer. Exact opposite when you look at the mechanism in the body, which is a deeper dive into the science of the body. But when you look at that mechanism, we're actually squelching those types of things from happening in the body and helping the body to stay as optimal and healthy as possible. Hmm. Hmm. So, amazingly, David has invented his own electrolyte amino acid powder that actually contains all of the nutrients. We call them precursors for the peptides that the patches are activating. That should be released any day now. We're super excited about that. It's called Celergize. So, the easiest thing to do right now is get you a blue bag of Celtic sea salt or Redmond's sea salt, not your now over mass produced from China pink Himalayan sea salt, and definitely not the girl with the umbrella iodized salt. But get yourself some good Celtic sea salt. It's 92 trace minerals. And these trace minerals will, you can put a little pinch in your water, that's totally fine. But when you put a crystal, just one little baby crystal on your tongue a couple times a day before you drink your water, that's going to pull the water into the cells and into the tissues to really hydrate you where you need to be hydrated. As we age, our cells shrink. So if you can picture your cells looking like grapes when you're a kid, at your age now, they're looking like raisins. And so we want to get those cells plump again. We want to get them vibrant. We want them communicating correctly. And so your electrolytes help your cells to communicate correctly. And the minerals, most people are mineral deficient because I grew up, my mom had two gardens. And so we would just go out back and pick what we wanted to eat. And so our soil is not that nutrient rich anymore. And unless you're growing it yourself or you're buying super ultra organic or you've got your farmer local that that soil is untainted, you're probably not getting the minerals you need. And if you don't have the minerals, your body's not going to be functioning correctly. We need them. So the Celtic sea salt is the best way to get those 92 trace minerals. And you can use different electrolyte powders, but again, like you said, you got to be careful. A lot of them are full of heavy metals and toxins, and they're just marketing gimmicks and things like that. So, making sure it's a safe, clean quality if you are going to purchase one. But I would definitely get that Celergize when it comes out because it has all of the amino acids as well as the electrolytes. And I'm big on amino acids and electrolytes. I've never heard of Baja Gold. I don't know. I can. Mhm. Yep, absolutely. So the Celergize that's coming out 100% definitely increases that, but also our X49. So X39 is the patch that I've been talking about here with activating your stem cells. Well, X49 activates a daughter peptide, so not GHK, but AHK. So it's like a mother and daughter that love each other, and they work synergistically together. And AHK, A stands for alanine, like beta alanine, which is muscle. That peptide, that patch is really powerful for improving cardiovascular function. And one of the things that happens is that uptake of that nitric oxide. So increasing our circulation, oxygenation throughout the entire body, which is why athletes love it, of course. People that love to get out and get fit, will go for walks or bike rides, whatever. But it also has, of course, neurological benefits, but bone density. This is a really big thing in women, especially as you age, keeping the lean muscle mass you have, but also stopping bone loss and increasing bone density. And your 3949 combo have produced in clinical studies massive improvements in bone density when we look at like a DEXA scan, or even when we're looking out at protein synthesis and urinalysis, even 12 months later, we can see people that had diagnosis no longer have those anymore because of how their bone density is increased. And we're not robbing nutrients in the body to make that happen. So it's a very safe way by elevating this peptide that's responsible for bone safely. It's incredible. Correct. Correct. That's called ice wave. So ice wave doesn't fix anything long term. It's not like X39 or 49. It looks like this. It's a two patch system, a white on the right, a tan on the left, and it gets rid of pain on the spot. So if I had shoulder pain, say this is my right shoulder and it was hurting, I could put the patch here, the white on the right, the tan on the left. Pain is stuck energy. And so this works with the polarity of my body to open up energy channels to eliminate the pain. And believe it or not, it happens instantaneously. I patch people all the time in pain, all the time. Say, oh, move your neck, turn, do whatever, whatever. Move your shoulder, give it a few minutes, walk around if it's your ankle or your knee, sit down, stand up. Within seconds, minutes, the pain goes from a 10 to a 4 or a 7 to a 2 or gone. It's gone. I don't know where it went. How did this happen? I don't know. It's stuck energy. We're just moving energy through the body. So the ice wave is fantastic instead of taking an ibuprofen, which is so bad for your liver, right? Your Advils, all of the leave, all of that stuff just wrecks your liver. And so staying away from those things that we've always been told, just go get an over the counter, it's fine, it's not fine. And so this is a way to be able to help you eliminate pain without putting anything in your body. Like I said earlier, they've got pain patches, but they're putting chemicals in your body. And so this is not putting anything in. It's just a wavelength of light that says, let's get rid of that pain. Let's open up the energy. Hmm. Well, you're talking to the right person because I just got a charcuterie board delivered yesterday from one of my leaders on my team, and Brent got wine delivered today from California from one of our favorite wineries out there. So I'm going to have a good glass of red wine with this charcuterie board tomorrow. So obviously, everything in moderation. Okay, I'm not going to drink the whole bottle. But when you drink alcohol, what happens in our body, and you want to be smart about it, stay away from the high sugary, syrupy cocktails that have all the, stuff. Like even in last week in Punta Mita, I'm like, give me a skinny jalapeno margarita. Like I don't want any of the syrup and all that stuff. It's gonna be fresh squeezed limes, fresh squeezed lemons, put the spice in, drop those jalapenos, a little tahini on the rim, but again, in moderation. But what happens, and we have to know this, when we drink alcohol, our body stops burning fat for fuel. And so there's about a 36 to 48-hour window where I'm not going to be efficient in burning fat. And so it's like, oh, how often do I want to do that? If I'm interested in using my fat for fuel, I need to keep that at the present forefront of my body's ability, right? And so I'm not saying you can't have a drink. I'm not saying you can't have two or three or four drinks if you want to have them. But just keep in mind that, it does shrink your brain. I mean, there's all this stuff out there. So again, hydration, here's a tip. Have your wine with your water sitting next to it. Take a sip of your wine, have some of your water. If you hydrate, you don't feel bad the next day, number one. And of course, your brain gets dehydrated. And so alcohol dehydrates you, just like caffeine. Coffee dehydrates you. So water will help you offset those effects. And then the other thing that's really good, if you have ever heard of charcoal pills or charcoal powder you can put in your water. It doesn't have any flavor, it's black. But if you drink that in the evening or you take a couple pills before you go to bed, like pull all of that stuff out of your body for you, any of that excess that your body shouldn't have in there. And so that'll also help keep things moving and keep your body free of any excess toxins. So I like the charcoal at the end of the night if I've had a few glasses of wine or something. Mm-mm. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think just hold space that I'm right with you in this club, that we are aging gracefully as we age. The number may be going up chronologically, but that our bodies are staying, my body is staying young and youthful and healthy on the inside because prevention is the key, right? Barring any accidents happening, we should be able to live a very long, healthy life by being mindful, honoring ourselves. And I ask you all to join me in that, in taking time to have some prayer time, meditation, breath work. Be present when you're eating, right? When you're consuming your food. Have that connection, community time, which you all have. Honor your sleep. Value that sleep and make sure you get that sleep, and the movement, the exercise, the getting out in nature and connecting with nature and connecting with others is just, it's so important. So if you'll join me in that mission, I would love that. You are welcome. Thank you for having me, Sandy. Thank you, ladies. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.